This is an information session for our newly nominated Olympia leaders for the class of 2027, and we're very excited to have you here. My name is Kristen Ryan. I am the Director of Networks and Partnerships, and part of my job is to work with all of the schools that we work with, which is 37 across the state, including all 16 counties. And I work with the schools as they are offered in our new class of Olympia leaders. I also have the pleasure of recruiting, training, and supporting Olympia leaders with the mentors and efforts we call those was. I've been here 6 years and very excited. Those of you just joining us, if you had a chance already, you can talk to me as well. When it comes to we can all get a sense of where everyone is from. I'm going to pass it over to Christina Vasta, our Executive Director, to introduce herself.
Yeah, and Kristen, I just wanted to check, you're kind of coming in and out with your audio, so
perfectly.
I just wanted you to know that. I didn't know how it was sounding for others. But good evening, everyone. My name is Christina McAnuff. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the very proud Executive Director of the Olympia Snowe Women's Leadership Institute. And tonight, along with Kristen and our Olympia leaders, I really want this to be a resource for you all so that at the end, after you've had a chance to ask questions that we may not have covered, you have the information you need to decide whether or not this is the right opportunity for you. And it's really nice to see some of the adults in your lives with you.
Can you hear me better now, Christina?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that introduction, and I'm going to have our two current Olympia's leaders introduce themselves. So I'll have Lily, you go first, and then you can, Lily, you can let us know where you're from, what grade you're in. That would be awesome.
Hi, my name is Chloe Luce. I am a sophomore at Lincoln Academy, which means I am the values portion of this program, which you'll learn about in a little bit.
Somebody must have just come home.
Hi, so my name's Lillian Lee. I'm a junior at Poland, and yeah.
Well, welcome. One of the things that I love about having this session is seeing everyone and where they are across the state. And so we welcome you all. Our Partner School Network, as I said, extends the whole breadth of the state, and I love seeing that we have folks from Calais all the way up in Calais, down in Biddeford, and across our very populated middle. So just in case you didn't realize, you are joining a very vast network across the state of people who are excited to support you. And I can't wait for you to meet
96.
one another.
96 people.
So before we start, I want to get a sense, for those of you who, during our welcome orientations, I often will ask, how much do you know about the Institute? So we don't usually want you to use your cell phones, but we are going to ask you to pick up your cell phone or use another browser to join us on the Mentimeter. You can scan this QR code, or you can go to menti.com and enter the code on the screen. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide here. And the first question that I'm going to ask is, how much do you know about the Institute? And I love this as an anonymous survey, so you can be honest. And I'm going to guess that some of our guest speakers are the people that know a lot. What were we supposed to log on to? I missed that. That's okay. If you look up at the top, you can go to menti.com, enter the code up here, and it's going to take you to a site that's going to go onto your phone and you can vote. Okay. All right. So it looks like, all right, We have about 36 folks here. I will tell you that this is super normal. When I go around to meet our newest groups, I always ask them, how much do you know about the Institute? Do you know a lot? Do you know a little? Do you know not a lot at all? I'm always grateful for the person that's like, I really don't know a heck of a lot. We know that we are a small organization, but we have been in this school for some time now. And we love sharing more information. So we're here tonight to give you more of a background, so help you get to know our institute, and also to answer some
At her house?
questions.
There was red lights that just went past, or maybe it's fire department.
Very
Fire
special
department.
welcome from
Thank
our
God.
fearless leader.
Congratulations on being nominated to join the Olympia Snowe Women's Leadership Institute. We are so proud that you are considering becoming a part of our 3-year program, which is designed to build your confidence, expand your aspirations, and help you apply the skills to be the leader you want to be at home, in your kids, in your career. I hope I'll get the chance to meet you this fall when you start the 4th year. Years ago, I learned that between middle and high school, girls' self-esteem drops 3.5 times more than boys on average. And so, girls are less likely to raise their hands in class or take the lead in activities or clubs. I founded the Institute in 2015 to change these distressing pictures and help girls build their confidence and self-esteem so that they can persist and grow as leaders, not only in high school, but we at the Institute want to see
Look at
more women in leadership positions across America because the great variety of perspectives present and what decisions are made, the stronger the solutions.
Alright, folks, I'm hearing that this is a bit of a spooky video, so I'm going to send a link to all of you, and I'll stop this.
You are nominated.
Let me just.
What?
You can put yourself in there if you want.
Alright. So I will send that to you afterwards. Thank you for the notes in the chat there. It worked last time, but you never know what the connection is going to be like. I think you get a sense, though, that our founder, Senator Olympia Snowe, is really proud of the work that we have done here to build this program, and she's really proud of you for being nominated and joining us. Did you want to add anything, Christina? Nope. Okay. So we'll get to
What are you laughing for?
folks here, and you can use a thumbs up on
There you
your
go.
screen, or you can use a thumbs up in the chat. Wondered when you got nominated or called down to the office, because I've heard so many stories of people who thought they got in trouble. Wondered when you heard that you were nominated to be in a leadership program, how many of you thought, why me? Or perhaps were surprised? So give us a thumbs up as you're looking around. And I'm going to ask Lilith to share your experience. What was it like when you were nominated?
So when I was nominated, they called me down to the office, and then they handed us like this packet, kind of like the overview of like the program and what we'd be doing in like the first few years and like the 3 major topics. And I was sitting in the guidance office with 4 other girls that I like didn't really talk to, kind of just passed by in the hallway. But I was like flipping through the packet, and then I remember us all going to like the meeting room where we like all started talking about like what we had in common and like what we were gonna tackle during these 3 years. So it was kind of like I don't really know you, but I got so close with them like through the program. It was great.
Awesome. Chloe, can you share your experience as well?
I actually had a very similar experience. They actually called our name down through the intercom, and I did think I was in trouble. And they pulled us into the guidance counselor office, and then we also got handed packets, and then our guidance counselor kind of gave us a little explanation, and then we sat down and talked about it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you know the folks that you were in the group with when you walked into that room?
I knew like two of them, but because I had similar classes with them, but I didn't know them that well. So.
Gotcha. So I love seeing in the chat here that a lot of folks were feeling the same way in terms of why did they choose me? So one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on this evening is because we want to let you know. I know that your school contact, perhaps it was a guidance counselor or a teacher, told you this, but we want to reiterate that one of the most, what I think is one of the most profound pieces of our program is that we don't ask students to apply. We ask adults in your community to nominate you because we want to help the students and support the students who don't yet realize that they have careers. And so we asked the school contacts to work with the adults community. Usually it's a great team, depending on how big or small school is. They met to all the faculty and staff and folks that work in the cafeteria of the school. And they we asked them to nominate students to show a spark of leadership potential. Not yet recognized in themselves, or they might recognize this leadership potential, but haven't figured out really how to explore it and all of you really benefit from working with a mentor to really grow this leadership position. This leadership position.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just want to let you know we're having a hard time hearing you again. I didn't know if you wanted to turn on your video so that there'd be greater bandwidth so we could.
Okay. Is that better?
It seems better to me.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. So anyway, we are excited because they see this leadership potential in you. We also want to recognize that as they're putting together this group, as Lily and Chloe both shared, they are putting together a group to represent your school. So you're going to be in a group that has people that you might not be close with because we want you through this program to learn not only about yourself, but other people with different perspectives. All right, I'm going to pass it over
So
to...
when you went to audio only, somehow, at least for me, it says you're sharing your screen, but I can't see slides anymore. Can others see slides? Oh, okay, so that's just me.
Oh, okay. I'll try again. All right, let's see. All right, is slide there now?
Oh, God.
Let's see.
Bigger
Not
smile.
there it is. I can see it. You can see it. Okay. Awesome. Christina, this is the slide that says how it works. Do you want me to read it or?
Yeah, because it says Zoom has quit unexpectedly, so I don't even know how to.
Oh, shoot. Well, then I'll start. Again, and
Technical
how this
difficulties.
works is that over the course of 2 years, it's a 3-year program. So staying for 4 years in the fall, you will have a 1 month, 1 meeting per month. In each of your cohorts, as you probably have already guessed, you have 6 obvious leaders, which is what we'll call our participants, and 2 advisors. And so this might be a surprise for Chloe and Lily because you only have 5 up to this point. We're going out to 6. So you'll meet 1 hour each month at school. And then, yeah.
I was gonna say I can jump in because I think your audio is breaking up again.
Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. Okay, jump in, Christina.
No, it feels like today is not our day. So the program is delivered under the auspices of the school, and so your meetings with your advisors happen, generally speaking, during the school day or right before or right after at your school. And between meetings, you have, I don't call them assignments, I think that they are fun activities, and I want Chloe and Lily to weigh in here because they're fun activities that connect the content from one meeting to the next. And the program is a little bit like learning a foreign language, so it's cumulative. So if you you miss a month, it really makes sense to go back and to make sure you've done the work, because you'll start to fall behind. Like if you don't learn how to conjugate the present tense of a verb, you won't be able to conjugate the past tense. So it builds on it on month after month and meeting after meeting and the work in between. And what's really fun are the 2 events that we have each year. And so if you decide that this is the right program for you, then this September 26th is a full day in Bangor with all Olympia's leaders. So more than 550, if I'm doing the math right, from across the state, your advisors and your school contacts, and we invite these incredible facilitators. Senator Snowe is there, and Kristen's showing some pictures of the day. And at the end of the year, we celebrate everything you've learned, and we graduate the seniors. And we do that in 2 events, one on the campus of the University of Maine and one on the campus of Bates College. And so those are really, really fun. And Lily and Chloe, can you weigh in on the work between meetings and what your experience was like at the Fall Forum?
Yeah, I can go first if you want. So the work that you do in between kind of gives you like a talking point or like a starting point for your next meeting. So like you guys will always have something to talk about, like besides like just catching up. So you guys will talk about like the assignments that you have, or like just the things that you've learned, or like just showing new learning. But to also talk about the Fall Forum, it is quite literally the best day of the year. Like you go and you have so many people with you. Like there's so much to do. It is so fun, so great. You just feel like everybody's on your side at that point. It's amazing.
What about you, Chloe?
Yeah, for the assignments, I would also agree that they're more like activities, I'd say, because with my experience, they've been like really fun, and they don't take a lot of time either. They're pretty low key along with the meetings. And like one of them, the one that I'm working on right now for my pre-April assignment, is I'm designing a magazine cover. So it's like a lot of creativity to it, and you get to learn a lot about yourself. So I really like doing the assignments or activities. And then, yeah, I would say I really enjoyed the Fall Forum as well. I was really, really nervous because typically large groups of people is not something I'm good with, but I felt welcomed as soon as I got there, and everybody was so kind, and we had some guest speakers, and then we got separated into groups, and we got to go do activities to get to know each other, and it was just a great way for everyone to learn about one another, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next in-person meetings too.
So I'd love Chloe. Go ahead, Chris. I was going to say that one of the things I appreciated you saying, Chloe, was that, well, first of all, that you were honest. You said you were nervous, but also that you felt welcomed, and the network is really an important part of the Fall Forum. And the other thing is that you talked about the activities and the self-knowledge. There's some science too behind this program and how it's built. And the more you know, there's a study that proves that the more you know about yourself, the more confidence you have. And that makes a lot of sense to me as a 39 for a third time individual, because the more I know about myself, the more I can make decisions that are in alignment with who I am and what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about. And so Chris is now bringing up the slide. This is how the program builds. So the first year, values, is all about getting to know yourself. And believe it or not, even as young as I am at 53, I'm still learning about myself, what I'm good at, where I have room to grow and strengthen skills. So values it's about your group. And I like how Lily said that, you know, she had walked past the other students that were nominated, but she wasn't necessarily friends with them, but now they're close. And the reason groups are like that is because we want you to have an opportunity to connect with people who are different and maybe aren't part of your everyday. Because you know what? Being able to collaborate with people who are different is one of the strengths that employers are looking for today. And I think we connect because of similarities. But what really makes us special is what makes us different. And so you will learn a lot about who you are. And then in the voice year, you start by learning how to listen to other people and listen so that you're not just going to respond, but really taking in what they're saying. And in doing so, you get a sense for when someone is listening to you. And so when it comes time for you to decide how you want to use your voice, you'll get a sense of how what you're saying lands on other people, and you'll be able to adjust what you're saying based on the person with whom you're speaking. And it's really powerful to learn that you don't have to have a loud voice to have an effective voice. And so again, more self-discovery in the voice year. In the vision year, you get a sense for where you want to take this self-knowledge and your ability to communicate with other people. And you brainstorm different ideas for your future. So maybe you're saying, well, I know that I am going to go to school, I'm going to study environmental engineering, and I'm going to, clean up waterways. Well, that is great. What if you maybe decide that science isn't your thing as you go through AP biology or AP environmental science? Well, maybe you become a custodian of waterways in a different path. And so you can brainstorm that. And when you brainstorm all that is possible, which is part of our mission, when something happens that maybe you think derails you from your path, believe it or not, because you brainstormed other options, you don't focus as much on that, and you focus on what is possible. And so the vision year is also about being flexible and skills like empathy and vulnerability, and that gets you ready to head off to whatever is next after high school. And what's really important about this program, and I hope the adults in your life are hearing this, that this is about the leader you want to be. This is not about a title or climbing the corporate ladder or becoming a politician. It's about being a leader maybe in your church, in your community, in the hallways at your school, on a sports team, or in your family. And so we respect all paths, and values, voice, and vision are part of what any leader needs to connect with others and have an impact, a positive impact.
Absolutely. And I will just add on to that as you're going through the program, we want you to really become the best version of yourself and the best leader that you can be. And in that vein, we want you to go, there is no expectation for what the next path will be for an Olympia's leader. But we have many students that go off to their colleges, but we also have students go into workforce or into the military. And so we support all of these paths, and we want to find that confidence, make your decisions for you. All right. So next, talk a little bit about responsibilities, because
Kristen?
Am I still breaking up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take the lead then, Christina. Sorry.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Responsibilities is a heavy word, but these are the things that we take really seriously because we want you to know what we are committed to delivering for you. So the Institute is responsible for the curriculum, and the curriculum, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, now it's college credit bearing. So if you become an Olympia's leader and participate all 3 years, you can earn 3 college credits. And we have advisors are trained to deliver this curriculum to you in those monthly meetings. And so we perform background checks to make sure that they are the right people to be in your community. We not only support you as a learner, but also the advisors and get them ready for all of their meetings with you. We are responsible for those 2 in-person events with Senator Snowe, and we always stay on top of the work that you are doing in Google Classroom and your participation or attendance at meetings, so that you always have a sense of where you stand towards each year's credit. And there's someone at your school, it might have been the person that invited you down to the office, who works with maybe the freshman teaching team or school administrators, coaches, bus drivers, folks in the cafeteria to nominate you. And so they manage that process, and they will welcome your advisors to school, maybe help your advisors find meeting space for you. They will send home permission slips, and they'll make sure that there's a bus or transportation for you to get to and from the events. And they will likely attend the events with you, or someone will go in their stead. And your advisors, we call them Olympia's Leaders advisors. You would be Olympia's Leaders. They spend a lot of time getting ready for the meeting. So they have a guide that is an outline of how to facilitate the meeting. They also really listen to you. And so if something's going on in your school, or something's going on with Olympia's Leader, they might adjust the meeting to give you more time to talk and process that. They are so excited to be an extra layer of support. They will encourage you, and I'd love for Lily and Chloe to share a little bit about their relationships with their OLAs and how they have shown up for you.
So with my Olympia Leaders, we are very, very close. Like, our group is very, like, we keep in touch. Like, everybody is always on everybody else's side, which is so great to have that to fall back on at the end of each day. But our Olympia Leaders they go above and beyond for us. Like, they are constantly there for us. Like, people that I didn't know that I needed just showed up, and it's so great to have that feeling.
Do you do anything outside of your meetings, or do you see them only at your meetings?
Yes, so sometimes we go outside of our meetings. So we went to an apple orchard not too long ago, and we all went apple picking together, and we just kind of sat and talked for a long time about, like, just, like, personal stuff or, like, school stuff. And it was just kind of, it was nice to, like, let go of reality for a little bit. And just recently we had, like, individual meetings with them just to kind of, like, check in and see how we were doing, like, as an individual. And, like, just for them to do that just showed, like, that they cared so much about us that they were going above and beyond to make the effort to do that, which was really nice.
She's such a rock star.
What about you, Chloe? I know you're earlier in your relationship with your advisors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing, sort of. They're very, very supportive, and they encourage us all. They make meetings, like, really, really fun, and they just make it more of, like, a comfortable environment, so you can always talk to them about anything. We have a group chat with the advisors and then the leaders in it as well, and we're always talking back and forth in that. And yeah, they're also very good at meeting you where you are at, because not every day and not every meeting you're going to give, like, full 100%, you know, depending on other things that are going on in your life. And they're very understanding from where you're coming from, and so I think that's really important too.
And so advisors, for the adults that are listening and joining us, they are an extra layer of support. And so, of course, no one can replace you. And one thing we know about what it's like to be a teenager these days is the more caring adults you have in your life, the more you are engaged in school and activities, and just the more support you have going forward. So we are in addition to hearing families. And the advisors, they spend like 6 to 8 hours a month to prepare for, deliver meetings, and to follow up with the Institute. So this is a real labor of love for them. And it takes a really special person to want to offer their time in this meaningful way. And then you, of course, are a really important part of the program too. So yes, attend meetings, but also participate, which means share your ideas, ask questions. Your advisors will talk about 25% of the time, and Olympia's leaders talk about 75% of the time. So this isn't like a class. It's really about an exchange of ideas and thoughts. And one thing we ask, because the women who are your advisors are volunteers, we ask that you respond to them. So you heard that there are group chats and some groups have an email exchange, but it's really important because these people have full-time jobs and families and lives that we respect them and their commitment by responding to them. We ask you to sign into Google Classroom and do these fun activities between each meeting, and then come to the fall forum and the event at the end of the year in May. And just want to pause here and say that I know that sports and other, band, choir, symphony are all really meaningful parts of your school experience, your high school experience. We work really hard to bring people across the state together, and we ask for Olympia's leaders' support to try and attend this, particularly the day in September. And so looking ahead, having conversations with your coaches, you can imagine how hard it might be to bring 850 people together. So we ask for everyone to do their best to attend. And we ask that you give us feedback. The program is only as good as your engagement. And so if there are some things that aren't working, let us know, because Kristen does a really amazing job of listening to advisors and students, and then we tweak the program so that it gets stronger and stronger.
Do you want me to try again, Christina, or do you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think that hearing a little bit about the curriculum and the experiences for OLs that are here on the call, you can see some of the benefits. We wanted to share some of the benefits that are intrinsic, but really important you might not realize before coming into this. And so our curriculum is designed in a way to help you build specific skills. And those skills we want you to have because they're going to help you realize your goals in life. As Christina emphasized earlier, the more you know about yourself, the higher your confidence is. And so that's our number one goal. It's in our mission statement. Also, as we talked about values, voice, and vision, knowing your values, and we'll get anchored, and Christina did talk about this as well, that if you have life, I would say that adults in this room probably understand that where you see your path when you're 16, 17, and 18 years old, oftentimes you're not in that spot that you were expecting to be. And so by knowing your values and also having connections with others that have helped you and supported you in this, really helps to anchor your confidence moving forward. You're also, like we've been talking about, is sharing perspectives from other OLs in your group. They're going to be having different experiences. You might share some of the same values, such as family or commitment, and those things might mean really different things to each of you. And so you'll learn to listen and see how these values play out for each other. And then, as Christina also referenced, we are credit bearing, and this is really exciting. And so I think one thing to emphasize is that if you go to 80% of your meetings, if you complete 80% of the activities between meetings, you will earn a digital badge this year. And that is important because that helps you stand out for jobs, for scholarships. For those adults in this Zoom room, if you have LinkedIn, it's something that you can put on your profile, and so each digital badge will tell a potential employer what skills you've acquired. You can put it in your email, but also colleges and scholarships really can see what you've learned. And then, of course, once you get 3 digital badges, one for each of the years you participate, you can earn a college credit that's the equivalent of a college level leadership course. And of course, we know, I'm going to go to this next here, that 3 college credits for 1 college course is monetarily very important and exciting, and will help you move forward should you choose to go to college in the future. It's also something that you could show to an employer, a future employer, and say, I was able to accomplish this on top of my high school work. We're very proud also that our credits are accepted seamlessly. So if you go to any of these colleges that we have listed, so Central Maine Community College, Eastern Maine Community College, Kennebec Valley Community College, Southern Maine Community College, of course also University of Maine, USM, Hudson, and Thomas, all accept credits, bit of credit for their at their institutes. We also will give you a transcript, and so that transcript will say you have 1 college credit. So if you go to another college or institute in state or out of state, you can bring that with you. I'm going to toss it back to you, Christina.
So something we're really, really proud of is that since the Institute was founded a little more than 9 years ago, we have been able to add some incredible opportunities for Olympia's leaders. So there are a couple of scholarships on here that are only for Olympia's leaders. No one else can apply for them. So really what that means is that we are providing a bridge from high school to the next level of opportunity. And while Kristen just talked about college credit and we're talking about some scholarships for college, I want to reinforce that we support all paths. And so while there are lots of applications for scholarships in our Google Classroom, there are also links to externships, internships to learn about fellowships or apprenticeships. And so, again, we want you to be the leader you want to be. What's important about this is that in addition to scholarships that are for Olympia's leaders only, we also collaborate with the Mitchell Scholars. So I think more than 40 Olympia's leaders have been named Mitchell Scholars. That's a $10,000, at least a $10,000 scholarship, $2,500 a year. We are a referring organization for the University of Southern Maine Promise Scholars. So we know that when an Olympia's leader applies to be a Promise Scholar, that they look favorably because of your engagement in the Institute. And we have, I think, more than a dozen Promise Scholars. And so to date, Olympia's leaders have received more than $800,000 in scholarship. And so we're really excited about how we're continuing to provide opportunities even after high school for Olympia's leaders.
Absolutely, and that leads to our frequently asked questions. So we want to leave you, and we're going to ask Chloe and Lily in a little bit to share what they wish they knew before they signed on, or something they were surprised by. But before that, I'm going to go through that even though we are an institute that was founded by Senator Snowe, a politician, and she is married to Jack McKernan, who's our former governor here in Maine, we are not a political program. We are an organization, and so if politics come up, it is because the students are wanting to talk about it, but it's not something that is part of our curriculum. We've said this many times already, that we're supportive of post-secondary paths. And I'm going to jump to the last one because I think what's most important and something that's really exciting that we're doing now is building our alumni program. So the program formally ends when you graduate from high school, but there are so many opportunities to stay connected. And if you can imagine that we have 200 female mentors every single year, and we've been here for 9 years, think about how many mentors throughout the entire state in all sorts of organizations and all sorts of career paths and the trades, who have connections at all sorts of different jobs. There are so many opportunities for us to help you connect in a way that is meaningful to you. And so that is something that we're excited about. We're also very proud to say that we're starting to create alumni alumni chapters on some of our main state colleges. We just signed and launched our first alumni chapter there, and we will be launching at the University of Maine, as well as Hassan and Thomas by the end of this calendar year. And also just important to know is that we raise 100% of the funds into this program. So this is at no cost to you or to your school. So we cover all of the costs it takes to get to any of our events. We also cover any costs in terms of the programming. And so this is at no cost to you. I'm going to pause and ask Chloe and Lily to share. Are there things that you wish that you knew or things that you would want to share that we have not yet shared with the group that's here?
You shouldn't run out of storage. You're on my 2 terabyte fucking thing.
Something I would share is just like knowing that you have so many people on your side. Like, even if you don't personally know somebody, you always know somebody that knows somebody that's like a friend of a friend. So there's always more than just like your network. There's like tons and tons of people that you may not know like as a person yet, but you could definitely like meet up with them for coffee or something and talk about like what you're interested in or like what path they're going. Just because you're in this like bubble with your school doesn't mean that you don't have like this huge network behind you. Like, as Christina said, there's like 550 girls that are there, and if you have an interest that you want to reach out and you want to talk about, there is most likely somebody there that is willing to talk to you and will just sit down and like have those like conversations. Or like, even if you're just like going through something, and if you were at like the fall forum, there is so many people that would just sit down and like talk with you, and like even if you don't see them on the day-to-day, they're always there, and having that feeling is so nice.
Oh my god, I'm so proud.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing, really. Just having that community that like supports you, just like knowing that makes you feel so good. And just honestly, never be afraid to reach out. Like, there's been so many times where I've reached out to people in my cohort in times where I needed them or in times where they needed me, and it's just like such a great community, and it's just girls uplifting girls, and I feel like that needs to be talked about more. And then also I feel like learning about it is much different than actually being part of the program. So I know for some of you it may seem intimidating or kind of scary, you know, interacting with so many people, but it's so worth it. And it's tough to be vulnerable sometimes, but you'll learn so much about yourself and others, and it's just such a great way to get involved.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to use Mentimeter again. Hopefully my computer cooperating this time. I'll send it here. So our next question on Mentimeter is now it's thinking about, now that we've learned a little bit more, what words do you associate with the Snowe Women's Leadership Institute? I'd love to hear what you learned and what you ultimately went. So if the Mentimeter is not on your phone yet, you can go to menti.com at the top and use that code. And what are some of the words that come to you now that you've learned? Oh, I love that was the first one and it's so big.
I can't sit still.
can't hear you.
Me? Oh.
Love that. Christina and I were on a call last week, and I love that these words are similar but different. The two big ones last time were confidence and leadership, but I would see in here, and I love hearing or seeing that support and community as really and what you're taking away from this. We also want to give you a chance to ask questions. So, my chance to look at it. You can get a question in the chat. Just unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions.
But they probably can get my tongue. No.
Probably nobody's going to ask questions.
And you can also ask a question of Olympia's leaders. It doesn't have to be of Kristen or me. And adults, please feel free to join in as well.
What do you mean?
We have just a couple of more done, but we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, so I'll manage the chat while your audio is still breaking up a little, Kristen. So I guess one of the things we wanted to leave you with. Oh, are you okay? We might have lost your son. But this is totally up to you. You were nominated for a reason, and the adults in your school see incredible. They see this spark in you, as Kristen shared, and the positives about the program are that it's going to increase your self-knowledge. You're going to make new friends like Chloe and Lily across the state. You're going to have two additional caring adults in your world, and you're going to hear a lot of stories from not only from women but also from men when you network at institute events, and that is going to give you such a greater idea of what is possible for your future. It's not all roses either. So it's sometimes really hard to communicate with people who are outside of your school. So your advisors come from a community, and they don't always know what's going on. They don't know that maybe you have
The recording has stopped.
during one of your meeting days. So
This meeting is being recorded.
They really rely on you to help them with that. And, it is work between meetings, but if you dedicate time, if you say, okay, I'm going to give myself a half hour on a Sunday morning before I go to practice, then I think it's totally manageable. But it can feel like when things get really busy that, this might be the thing that you skip on. And I mentioned when it comes to our in-person events that sometimes you have to make tough decisions between commitments. And I know that some schools, for example, have some commitments around sports where if you don't attend a practice, you can't play in the next game. And so we work really hard with your school contacts, and we ask you to talk to your coaches so that you can make those really that one fall forum day in September. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. We will respect your decision. And I know that Kristen wants to tell you a little bit about next steps. So Kristen, if you go to that slide and we still can't hear you, then I'll do my best. There, Kristen, I don't see Kristen. So I'm going to try this. So if you decide to become an Olympia's leader, we will be happy. And we ask you to complete the Google form. And this is something you do with your with at least one of the adults in your life. And if you don't have access online, then your school contact does have a paper copy that you can complete. And then between now and the end of the year, Kristen or maybe someone else from the Institute will hold a welcome school. The adults will be invited too, and you'll hear a little bit more about the program, but you'll get to meet your advisors. And it's really nice to have that relationship as you're going into the summer, because you'll hear from them over the summer. And so I think I got everything, Kristen.
You did for me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to apologize for picking from you about anticipating you to your evening. So there are lots of groups that meeting, and so we hope that you to email us have any questions.
Be involved.
We do hope that you will look to your ideas too.
So we had a hard time hearing that, Kristen, but we did hear your genuine interest in having people join. Can you please put in the chat the link to the Google form? That was one of the questions that was asked.
That I can do.
And okay, so someone has it in email, which is great. But Kristen will send a form. And anything else? And if you don't want to ask it, you can type it in. You have to maintain certain grades. So the work is really, I'm not sure if the question relates to your grades for other classes or for the institute. We really don't grade. It's about, did you attend, did you not attend, did you participate, did you not participate, did you do the work between? And it's hard, it's not work that we grade because it's maybe your reflection about something you read, or it's your preparation for a conversation you're going to have with someone. And so it's really about doing the work, and it's not necessarily about us judging the work. So if you show up once a month, if you do the work between meetings, then you will earn the digital badges and the college credit. And you were selected because your school believes that you can take this on without impacting your academic classes.
And in terms of your academic classes, we don't keep track of your academic grades. However, if you are not doing well in school and your counselors are concerned about you, that would be the only thing that would maybe jeopardize your participation. But quite frankly, in our 9 years, we have not seen that happen. So I will also say, if folks type their emails into the chat right now, you can send it directly to me if you don't want to share it with anyone. I can send you directly the link to Senator Snow's video.
And a great question came in about the kinds of activities. And so, Lily, can you share some of the activities that you do in the meetings? And then Chloe, can you think about some of the activities you've done between meetings?
So some of the activities we do during meetings is like, we'll do like some reflections, or like we'll talk about like certain situations, like, oh, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Or how could you use your voice in this? Or how could you apply your values to this? So it's kind of, they make it very, very fun when you do it. But you're kind of just applying all of your skills to like everything. So all the activities relate back to what you do. So it's not like you're left blindsided.
Before Chloe jumps in, Lily, can you share, like, how does an institute meeting feel versus like biology, English, math, history?
It feels like a session to just like let go and debrief, like just having that escape at school, where it's like, as history you walk in, you're stressed, your shoulders get all tense. Like when you walk into a meeting, you're kind of just like, you let go of everything. And it's almost like a weight's lifted off of your shoulders. So it's so nice having that as like at school instead of like coming home to it.
And Chloe, what are some of the, I know you talked magazine cover. Maybe you can tell us more about that and some of the other Google Classroom that connect to the meetings.
Yeah, so we've done the magazine cover where sophomores would be focusing on their values, their strengths and their passions. We've also done a similar to a magazine cover, but you kind of make a little presentation about a role model that you have in your life. We've watched a couple of TED Talks and answered some questions about that. There was a couple of assignments where you put yourself into hypothetical situations and think about what's most important to you and how you would handle those situations. And yeah, they're very creative, and they're up to you in how you complete them, but there's a lot of leeway, and so yeah.
And a couple of other things in the sophomore year, one of the tools we use is called the Clifton Strengths Finder. And so students, I think it's January or February, we pay for each student